Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Coin Lovers. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Canadian nickels, focusing on two very interesting years, 1982 and 1987. At first glance they look like ordinary 5-cent coins, but depending on mint errors, condition and collector demand, some of these nickels can actually be worth far more than their face value. We'll break down what makes these coins special, how to identify valuable varieties, and just how much money collectors are willing to pay. So stick around, because your old 1982 or 1987 nickel might just surprise you. Let's get started. Today we've got a deep dive into a coin you've definitely seen jingling in change but might be overlooking: the 1982 Canadian 5-cent piece, the classic beaver nickel. Over the next 10 segments I'll walk you through everything from the coin specs and why 1982 was a turning point in composition to how to tell a low value rusted roll from a gem grade example that could fetch real money from the right beer. Stick around to the end for practical tips on grading, storing, and selling. And if you like long, detailed coin breakdowns like this, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our weekly videos. Let's start with the basics. You can inspect with the naked eye and a loop. The obverse shows Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, and the reverse features the famed beaver perched on a rock, a design classic. The 1982 nickel falls in the 1982 to 1989 series that used a copper nickel composition with a weight around 4.6 grams, diameter about 21.2 millimeters, and a thickness near 1.76 millimeters. Dimensions collectors memorize because deviations can signal tokens, altered pieces, or errors. If you're cataloging, this is KM-60.2, a territory. Those identifiers help you cross-check catalogs and auction listings. The year 1982 is notable because the Royal Canadian Mint transitioned materials around this era due to nickel pricing and industrial choices moving firmly into copper nickel. For this series that makes 1982 coins interesting to many collectors. They're modern, common, but sit right at a material and stylistic inflection point, which is why you'll sometimes see higher interest for exceptionally preserved pieces or specially struck varieties like proof or specimen strikes. Knowing the metal matters when you weigh melt value versus numismatic value. If you think rarity drives price, you'll want the mintage numbers. Millions of 5-cent pieces were struck in the 1980s. Authoritative price guides list the 1982 circulation mintage as very large, tens of millions, and proof collector issues are a small fraction in comparison. What that means practically is this: most circulated 1982 nickels are worth face value or small premiums. Only higher grades, proofs, or unusual error coins move appreciably above that. For exact mintage breakdowns, consult mint records or trusted catalogs when you list or buy. Let's cut to the chase on money. A typical circulated 1980 to 5-cent is worth roughly face value up to a few cents above its common change. However, mint state examples MS60 and above and professionally graded pieces can command higher prices. Modest uncertified uncirculated might sell for under $1, while high MS64 to MS67 pieces can fetch tens to a few $100s depending on eye appeal and market trends. Proof or proof-like pieces and top-graded coins slabbed have a separate premium band. Always compare recent auction sales for accurate current pricing. Most of the value in a common date like 1982 isn't the date itself but unusual varieties, strike errors, die cracks, double dies, wrong planchet strikes, or exceptional proof-like finish. These anomalies are rare and, when genuine, can attract serious bidders. If you spot doubling on the date or device, deep die cracks, or unusual planchet laminations, photograph the coin. Get initial opinions from trusted forums or local clubs and consider professional grading if it looks significant. Beware many errors advertised online are just circulation damage or post-mint harm. Educate yourself before you pay or sell. Tip: a crisp high-res photo with obverse, reverse, and edge shots is your best friend when asking experts. Grading drives value. Learn the rough visual cues: luster, strike, sharpness, contact marks, and surface preservation, and compare to grade photos and catalog guides. For storage, use inert flips or capsules. Avoid PVC. Keep coins out of humid basements and don't clean them. Cleaning often ruins numismatic value. If you intend to sell a promising specimen, consider third-party grading services. While grading costs money, slabs usually increase beer trust and can significantly raise realized price for high-grade Pieces for budget collectors. Building a clean coin set is okay for learning, but keep at least one untouched sample to steady natural toning and luster. When you decide to sell, choose your platform carefully. Low-value circulated coins move quickly on large marketplaces or to local dealers. Rarer pieces benefit from auction houses or specialized numismatic platforms where collectors hunt for specific varieties. Always show multiple clear photos. Mention whether a coin is certified, provide known provenance if any, and disclose any conservation or cleaning. Watch out for underpayment offers and account for seller fees and shipping. Insurance. When you price your coins, the gross hammer price is rarely what lands in your pocket. Checking completed listings for the same grade is the single best shortcut to a realistic asking price. Beyond price, these nickels are tiny pieces of Canadian visual culture. The beaver motif is iconic, symbolizing industry and natural heritage. For many collectors, that story, plus the design lineage linked to George Kruger Gray and the portrait evolution of the Queen, fuels interest more than immediate resale value. If you're building a thematic cabinet, wildlife, animal motifs, or 20th century Commonwealth issues, the 1982 nickel plays a role as both an everyday coin and a node in design continuity that makes thematic collecting satisfying and educational. Alright, final checklist. Examine weight and diameter. Compare to reference photos. Look for error indicators and check recent auction results before you buy or sell. If you want my deep dive pricing spreadsheet, weekly market updates, and early access to upcoming coin reviews, consider joining the channel membership. I'll post members only videos showing live grading sessions and unslabs. If you prefer to keep it free, hit subscribe, like the video, and comment with pictures of your own 1982 nickels. I'll pick a few to feature in the next live Q&A. Thanks for watching, and remember, most coins are worth more as stories than as instant cash, but with a little knowledge you might discover something surprisingly valuable in your change jar. Today we're doing a deep dive on a coin you probably pass every day, but few people think much about: the 1987 Canadian 5 cent. By the end of this video you'll know what the coin is made of, how many were struck, the realistic values for circulated and mint condition pieces, what to look for if you want one for your collection, how to spot the proof and special strikes, and where you can sell or buy them. Stick around because I'll also show you the exact grades where the price jumps, and I'll tell you the one thing most people miss when they clean a nickel. Whether you're a beginner or already into Canadian moderns, there's something here for you. First, the basics. The 1987 5 cent is the standard beaver nickel used in circulation during the Elizabeth II portrait series, 1982 to 1989. It measures about 21.2 millimeters in diameter, weighs roughly 4.54 grams, and has a plain smooth edge. The reverse shows the familiar beaver, designed by G.E. Kruger Gray, and the obverse at that time carries the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The alloy used for this period, 1982 to 1989 business strikes, is copper nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, which affects the coin's color and how it ages. These physical specs are important for authenticating and understanding wear patterns. Now the all-important mintage, approximately 106,299,000 circulation pieces were struck in 1987. That's over 100 million. So these are very common in pocket change and bank rolls. Because of that huge mintage, typical circulated 1987 nickels are worth at or just above face value to the average person. They're common survivors and not a key date. Knowing that large mintage upfront helps set reasonable expectations when you're hunting for value. Let's talk money, the gut question. For circulated examples, expect essentially face value to a few cents or a few dimes over face if the coin is worn. Many online price guides list a melt minimum and circulated value that's under $1. Moving into uncirculated grades, values rise with grade. A low MS60 type example may be worth a few tens to a few dollars. MS63 a bit more, and by MS65 plus, you start to see significantly higher collector prices. Examples and markets vary. Some price guides place values for high mint state specimens into the tens or low hundreds, depending on exact grade and eye appeal. Proof strikes and exceptional survivors command a premium. Remember, grade and eye appeal matter far more than date for this issue. 1987 also had proof examples. Proof sets and occasional proof-like specimens exist, and those are separate from the business strikes you find in circulation. Proof 1987 nickels were struck for sets and collector Sales, their finish is sharper, fields are mirror-like, and their mintage counts are far smaller. Proof runs are usually in the hundreds of thousands for that era. If you find a really reflective, deeply mirrored field with frosted devices, you're likely looking at a proof or proof-like piece. Treat it carefully and consider a grading service if it. For many modern Canadian nickels, the real value add comes from varieties, or minting errors off-center, strikes, double dies, die cracks, and unusual planchette defects. For the 1987 nickel, there are no single famous key date varieties that make everyday circulated examples skyrocket, but error coins do pop up and can be worth multiples of face, depending on severity and collector interest. If you find an oddity, a clear die break, a doubled ear on the portrait, or a planchette lamination, photograph it. Do not clean it and get an expert opinion or a certified grading service to verify it before you try to sell. Provenance and clear imagery help a lot at auction. When you're filming or inspecting coins, here's how to grade by eye. Start by examining high points for where the beaver's tail, the queen's hair, and cheek. Check for contact marks and hairlines on fields and evaluate luster. Original mint luster will show a certain satiny sheen in uncirculated pieces. Use a loop 10x to check for bag marks and micro scratches. Don't rely on color alone. Some circulated nickels toning to a pleasant brown may still have low strike and be low grade. If you plan to submit for grading, clean coins aggressively. Never cleaning destroys value for most collectors. Selling strategy for a common date like 1987 marketplaces matter. Bulk lots or circulated coins usually sell best by the roll or in packages on local classifieds. eBay or two dealers expect small returns for high-grade or error pieces. List on specialized auction platforms or numismatic marketplaces and include high-resolution photos of both sides, a description of weight, diameter, any provenance, and whether the coin has been certified. Use comparables. Search recent completed listings for 1987 nickels in the same grade to set a realistic price. If you need quick cash, local coin shops will buy, but offer lower retail. If you want max value, be patient and target collectors. Care tips: store nickels in acid-free flips, coin tubes, or albums. Avoid PVC holders that cause green sticky deposits for long-term storage. Keep them in a low humidity, stable temperature environment. If you're building a modern Canadian set, aim to acquire at least one nice uncirculated example per year. For the 1980s series, the premium for gem quality pieces can be meaningful. If you want to show or sell later, also learn the difference between business, strike proof, and commemorative pieces. That education will keep you from overpaying. Alright, recap in one line. The 1987 Canadian nickel is a very common copper nickel circulation coin with a hefty mintage, about 106.3 million. Modest market values for circulated pieces and measurable premiums for high mint, state proof, or genuine error specimens. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. I publish detailed coin evaluations, grading tutorials, and live finds videos every week. Want to follow up? Comment below if you want a video showing how to grade a 1987 nickel on camera step by step, or if you found a suspicious error coin and want me to evaluate your photos. Thanks for watching. Keep checking, your pocket's treasure might be closer than you think.